Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and I'm a gardener here in Zone 8A in the area of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I just wanted to take some time to go through a seed haul that I got in today. I've got some seeds from Wild Boar Farms as well as MIGardener. Today is supposed to be, well, this week, I'm supposed to be starting seeds for tomatoes. I've got some sweet peas to be seeding, some let's see, I've got some, mostly all tomatoes besides the sweet pea. It's all tomatoes that I'm supposed to be seeding today. So before I get going on that, I'm going to go through this seed haul. So let's just start with, we'll start with the herbs. So I ordered some mammoth basil from MIGardener. All these seeds I'm going to go through first are from MIGardener. I like to order, they're all heirloom seeds that they grow, and the packaging is always, it always comes with something really cute. So we got some mammoth basil. I have not grown any of this yet. I've just done regular sweet basil or a Genovese basil, but I've seen other people grow it. I don't know if you all know Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm, but she's grown some lettuce leaf basil or some giant basil, and I wanted to give it a try this year, so I ordered a packet of those. I ordered some okra, some Hill Country red okra. I've only had fried okra, and I wasn't a big fan. My husband loves okra, so I thought I would try it this year, more just to grow the actual plant because it's beautiful. And I thought I would give it a try, cook it a couple different ways. So I got a packet of those. I can't help myself. I order tomatoes in every seed order that I do throughout the year, and I added some moonbeam tomatoes. I just thought these were really pretty and I liked the name. So I'm going to grow those as well. I love colorful cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. These are moonbeam grape tomatoes, so I'm going to grow these as well this year and just add to my already decent sized list of ones that I'm growing. I got some French breakfast radish. Now the only radish I have grown so far are the daikon radishes, the long white ones, and I actually really liked those roasted. I don't care for them fresh, but I roasted all of mine and just mixed them in with some other vegetables, and they were delicious, almost sweet tasting. So I heard that French breakfast radish were also very delicious roasted, so I thought I'd give these a try. I won't try these here in the spring. I don't have any sort of high tunnel or anything, and I think it's going to get too hot. It says these are, let's see, germinate in about 3 to 12 days, and you can harvest them in about 25 days. So I don't know, maybe I'll try a couple and see, but other than that, otherwise I'll wait till the fall. My radishes did really well in the fall, so I will wait till the fall, maybe besides a few, to plant those. Also got some giant Marconi peppers. I got 2 packages of these. I have tried to grow larger bell peppers in the past, and they've never done well. So this year I've done some snacking peppers, just little orange lunchbox, orange or red peppers. This time I'm gonna add these giant Marconis because I've seen them do very well for other people. So I will give these a shot, and hopefully they will turn out well for me. I added some eggplant this year, so I got some Black Beauty eggplant. I have already seeded some purple eggplant, and I was just waiting on these to come in the mail, so I will start these seeds as well today, so I can get those started with, you know, to catch up with my other ones. So I'm excited about those. I've never really ordered eggplant. I think this was more of, I don't know, they're just a really pretty fruit, and I've seen some recipes this past year, heard of some recipes that sounded really good, so I thought I'd try eggplant this time. I'm gonna add those. I did buy a couple of cabbage packets. I got a red acre cabbage and some Napa cabbage. I wanted to try to make kimchi this past year, but my cabbage heads did not get very big at all. So next year I will try again, and I'm gonna try to make the kimchi with the Napa cabbage And I love red cabbage in things, and I didn't have any seeds for that, so I bought a packet of those. I also got some beans. So I got some Midnight Black Turtle bush beans. I'd love to learn how to can black beans, so I bought a couple packages of those, as well as some Jacob's Cattle bush bean. Oops, sorry. I thought those were just really pretty. I've never bought or planted anything where I have to shell, or I've grown a couple of green beans, but they didn't really produce a lot for me, so I'm gonna try these bush beans and see if I can get them to grow this year. And depending on how they do where I'm at, I will plant them in the fall. So just got a couple packages of those as well. And the fun little thing I got in my seed packet that MIGardener included was a little seed envelope. So you can save seeds from your plants if you would like, and either, you know, save them to plant for the next year or gift them to someone. So that's my MIGardener seed haul. Like I said, I like to order through them. They have all heirloom seeds, friendly staff, and I've done a couple of, I follow them on YouTube and Facebook and such, and it's a really cool company to support, so I love supporting MIGardener. The other company I bought from is called Wild Boar Farms. I've only heard of them through Jess at Roots and Refuge, but they have, and it's all tomatoes. So I ordered a few packets of seeds. It came with a really nice sticker, so my husband loved the sticker, so that's pretty cool. But their seeds that I got Atomic Sunset. That is a small orangish looking grape tomato. They were really just pretty. Some of these I bought just for the name, so you know. I got the Atomic Sunset. I've got the Atomic Fusion, which is a kind of a yellowish purplish color. Small cherry grape tomato look. They just sounded really delicious, and they look delicious. I got Berry's Crazy Cherry. And honestly, the only reason I bought this was because Jess over at Roots and Refuge, every time she grows this, she'll just get clusters and clusters of tomatoes. And I've never been able to grow that many cherry or grape tomatoes at once. I get them very sporadically, and the clusters that she was pulling off of her plant, I was just amazed by. So I decided to get some Berry's Crazy Cherry to try them out. I got some Tim's Taste of Paradise. Okay, so these are very small little cherry-sized yellow tomatoes. Again, they look like they provide a lot for you on a cluster. So I was really intrigued by those. I got some mini Marzano tomato seeds. I like the regular sized Marzano tomatoes. I plan to make a lot of spaghetti sauce this year and maybe try some ketchup or just canned tomato sauces and tomato paste, that kind of thing. And so I thought I'd get these mini Marzanos, one to try in a smaller container type of garden, and see how much I can get off little plants, off these little mini Marzano plants. So I bought some of those, and then I got some blue boar berries, which I think are also called the blue gold berries. They're a yellowish, purplish kind of cherry tomato. They looked really delicious and would be a fun pop of color to any kind of salad. I got those. I got Brad's Atomic Grape. They're kind of a purplish yellow as well. They look like a really dark purple. Really pretty tomatoes. I just think I liked the color, so I got those. And I also got the sample. Ooh. Okay, this is fun. I didn't order these, but they included a little sample-sized seed packet of the pink furry boar. So they have a pink brandywine, they have a pink boar, and then there's a pink furry boar. That's interesting. Let's read what the pink furry boar has as a description. says it's a 2 to 4 ounce fruit, round pink with creamy yellow stripes. Matte skin, fuzzy, so almost maybe like a peach. Great tomato flavor that is fairly rich and sweet. I use a planter called Seed Time. And so far the only tomatoes I have added are the Amish paste tomato. I've got the regular sized San Marzano tomato. I've got Cherokee Purple, which would be a big slicer tomato. I've got the Golden Jubilee. I believe that's maybe a grape-sized tomato. That might be a smaller, more like a saladette size. I can't really remember. That may be a slicer. And then I've got a Sweet Aroma hybrid. I've planted those every year. They've done very well for me, but not enough for sauces or anything. So I've got those, and I've got Matt's Wild Cherry, which is a very small cherry tomato that grow kind of like Barry's Crazy Cherry. They grow like crazy. Lots of clusters. And then I've got a I'll butcher this, Werokawai. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but I grew that last year in a kind of a container. I have what's called a veggie pod, and it's kind of a small dwarf, smaller sized tomato plant. It didn't grow that large, but they produce slicer tomatoes. So I'm going to grow that again because it did do well, and I like that the plant was very small. So that is my seed haul. I'm real excited to start. I'm probably going to add most of these to my plant, so that'll be at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tomatoes already. No, 8, because I also have a dwarf geranium kiss tomato, which are small little cherries, and it's a dwarf, so I'll put that in my veggie pod probably as well, or another container. And so that's 8 that I already have in my planter, and then I'm going to add probably 3 or 4 of the Wild Boar Farms, as well as the Moonbeam tomatoes from MIGardener. So I'll have quite a few tomato plants, not as many as Jess. So if you watch her channel, she plants a whole lot of tomatoes because that's her, I think, her favorite thing to grow in the garden. It is her favorite thing to grow in the garden, I believe. So I don't have that much room, so I can't grow that many, but I do grow more than I thought I would ever grow. So I'm excited to plant these. So that is my seed haul. Now I'm going to probably start some tomato seeds. I just put the compost in, or the potting mix in. This is a all-purpose compost-based potting mix. So I just fill it up to the top, kind of pat it down, because once you do water it, it will sink down a little bit. So I fill it up, and I will do that with all my pots before I even start putting seeds in it. Well, since this is my first video where I've actually talked to the camera, or talked to you guys rather, I thought I should tell you a little bit about myself. I didn't grow up with a garden. The only garden we ever did was just a small one in the back, and I was not a big fan of it because I was usually having to weed it, and I did not like weeding at all. I still don't, but I really didn't like it in my high school years, junior high, high school. So and we had a lot of pine trees in our backyard, so the amount of sun we had was limited. And I remember the garden that they did have was doing rather well. And I forgot what all we were trying to grow. Maybe some potatoes, some cantaloupe. I know we had tomatoes. Can't remember much else than that. But we left on vacation for a couple weeks, and my grandparents were watching the house at that point. And we told my grandpa, you know, don't worry about the garden. Everything's on an automatic timer. Well, we went on vacation and the timer died, maybe, the automatic watering. Something died or stopped working, and so the garden didn't get watered the whole time we were gone, just because my grandpa didn't worry about it, you know? So we lost everything at that point, and that was the last time I remember actually having any sort of a garden that grew vegetables, that kind of thing. So we didn't garden a lot. We just did a lot of landscaping, really pretty landscaping, but I was never a fan of being in the dirt I don't care for bugs. I don't care for worms. So it was never fun for me to go out there and pull weeds and try to plant things, different flowers and stuff like that. So fast forward to 2020, which for most people, that's when they started to learn how to garden. We realized that grocery stores, all of a sudden they were empty. And so trying to find fresh produce, different foods in the stores, I mean, everything, as I'm sure you're well aware, it was all of a sudden empty in stores you went to. You're driving around just trying to find cases of water. I decided, since we had to stay home, I was not working at that time due to some health reasons. So I said, well, you know, why not? The first time I ever saw Jess on Roots and Refuge was on a Facebook post. Her video just happened to pop up on my home feed one day. And I was like, well, she looks fun. So I clicked on her video, started watching, and realized that she had a lot of passion for what she did, and she grew a lot of food. And I found her videos very entertaining, so I decided I can do that. I can grow some plants. So I started with I grabbed 2 started plants from our local home improvement store. I think Lowe's is where I went, and found 2 bell pepper plants. And I was like, I like bell peppers. We lived on a 2nd-story balcony apartment at that time. And our balcony had enough room that I could get some pots. And so I had 2 big pots of, I think I had maybe 3 bell pepper plants actually. And they were already, you know, about this tall. So little peppers starting to develop at that point. Grabbed 2 big pots, grabbed a bag of some potting soil, and took those plants home, put them on my back porch, and took care of them. And I ended up probably maybe 4 little bell peppers. And they were, I mean, they were small. They weren't even a normal size bell pepper. But I was so proud of myself that I grew those. They made me very happy. Every day I was checking on them, making sure there were no bugs, and didn't know anything about mildew, didn't know anything about any other diseases that plants could get. I knew even on my 2nd-story balcony, we could get grasshoppers and that kind of thing. So I watched for bugs, and I just waited till I could harvest a little bell pepper. And when I finally could, I cut it up, put it on a salad, just raw. I didn't want to cook it or anything. I just raw bell pepper, and they were absolutely delicious. So from then on, I decided I could do this. I can grow things for my husband and I, and, you know, depending on how much I can produce, I won't have to go buy them at the store. So that summer, that's all I did, was just the 3 bell pepper plants. The next summer, so the winter time, I didn't do anything. 2021 came around, and I said, I'll add some more. So I added some, I think I tried to add some zucchini, because we love zucchini, and I wanted to try to grow those. I heard squash was very easy and quick growing, as well as cucumbers. So I tried to do some cucumbers and some zucchini. The zucchini, big plants, I actually grew them in a very small, I don't know if you can see it, but this blue container back here, that's what I started my zucchini in. Very short planter box type of thing. And I put 2 plants in there. Didn't get any zucchini, but my plants grew very big, and they were healthy for a while. They ended up getting powdery mildew. And at the time, I didn't really know what to do for that, or wasn't really sure exactly if that was it. So I didn't get anything for my zucchini plants. They slowly just died. My cucumbers, I kind of makeshift a trellis up the wall, and our balcony only had sun maybe on 3/4 of it. From about 10 a.m. we got full, well, I guess the morning, as soon as it got above the trees, we got sun, and that was about 10 o'clock or so until about 2, maybe 3 p.m. was when we had full sun on 3/4 of our balcony. So I put the cucumbers where I thought they could get the most sun, and they didn't give me anything. I don't even think I had any flowers. So I thought just a mixture of, I didn't have any sun, I didn't have maybe enough water for cucumbers. I also never really saw any pollinators. We may have had a few carpenter bees, but I felt like I couldn't attract any pollinators to my plants where we were. So that garden that year didn't do anything. I think I also did some more bell peppers and maybe one tomato plant. I can't remember if those grew or not, but every year I have added to my garden. Now, the house that my parents lived in, my grandma lives there now, since my parents have moved, and I have used the backyard there as part of my garden. We used to have a pool in the back, and where that pool was located is now where a lot of my garden space has been for the last couple of years. And that's done very well, even though we don't have a ton of sun where my parents used to have their garden. Where the pool was, that was where we got the most sun. So over the last couple of years, I've added some cinder block raised beds. I've added some just in-ground areas to plant things. I got a lot of tomatoes last year. I had about 24 plants, various types of tomatoes. So my tomatoes did well. My potatoes did well back there. I've had some peppers. A lot of my peppers last year got stunted when I put them out too early. So I ended up buying started plants from a local nursery. And my peppers did okay. I got a few, not enough to really preserve or anything like that. But for fresh eating, I got some shishito peppers. I got little lunchbox peppers. Got a couple of jalapenos. So peppers did okay, but the tomatoes really took off where I put them. And my potatoes did really well. My cucumbers got eaten before they even had a chance to grow. And I think that's just because I didn't have a way to keep them covered because I wasn't over there every day. So my cucumbers will be here this year where I can keep an eye on them, because I think the squirrels and birds just, as soon as I transplanted them outside, they got eaten. So I have yet to have a successful cucumber harvest. I've harvested 2 cucumbers in the past 4 years. So I'm excited for this year. I will be planting a lot of cucumbers in hopes that I can pickle a lot and fresh eat cucumbers throughout the whole summer. So each year I've added to my garden. I have loved it more and more each time. I'm trying to branch out and find some different varieties to plant, things that you can't buy in the store. That's the great thing about growing your own food. Jess talks about it all the time. She grows varieties that you can't find at your local grocery store. And a lot of it's really delicious. Some things are a little weird. But for the most part, it's just a very rewarding experience. And I have liked it a lot. It gives me something to do now that I stay home. Gardening has really given me something to look forward to. I did my first fall garden this past year successfully. I tried garlic last year. None of them grew where I put them at my grandma's house. It was, I think, just too shady where I put them. So this year I have them in those 3 buckets, and so far they look 10 times better than they did last year when I tried to grow garlic. So I'm excited to get a good garlic harvest, hopefully, in a few months. The onions that I just put in this past week are looking great. So I'm hoping to have a bunch of sweet onions to store and use fresh. I might freeze a bunch as well, depending on how many I can get to come up. Potatoes, I'll be planting. I bought 2 bags of some red Pontiac potatoes and some Yukon Golds. I just bought them at our local seed store downtown. I have filled all of my cups. I am now going to put the seeds in and then we'll water it when I'm done. I am going to start with the seeds that I just ordered because they're already out. I'll have to dig through and find my other ones. So I'm going to do this moonbeam tomato. The rule of thumb is that you plant the seed twice as deep as it is wide. These are very, very small. So I'm not even pressing hard down at all. I am making just a tiny little indent, dropping the seed, and I'm just gently brushing some soil over the top. The seed only has enough energy to get to the surface, and then it needs sunlight, photosynthesizing, to get its energy. So I'm not planting these very deep at all because it doesn't have a lot of energy to begin with, and I don't want it to have to work and use up all its energy before it even gets to the surface. So I'm just gently covering the top, and I have just 2 little seeds tucked in right there. And I am going to label everything as I go because I will forget. I use these little tags and I have reused them. I reused them in the fall, and I'm just going to, a lot of it's already faded, so you can take some, I believe, alcohol, little rubbing alcohol, we'll just take that right off, and I can just rewrite on it and reuse it. So at this point in the video, there was a lot of extra noise from the neighbor's house behind us. They were just doing a lot of work outside, and it was too much noise in the background while I was talking. I thought it would be best just to silence the video while I was doing this so you didn't have to hear all of that. They were doing a bunch of sawing and drilling, that kind of thing. So I'm just talking about why I'm choosing the varieties that I did and what I plan to do with them and how many of each plant I will be sowing. So just hang out while I see the rest of these tomatoes. I also have to seed some sweet pea flowers today, and I'm not quite sure which one. I've got Perfume Delight, I've got Little Sweetheart, which look like they're great in containers and small dwarf bush of sweet peas. So I may do a couple of those to hang in on the front porch. I've got some High Scent sweet peas, which are a really pretty kind of pale pink. I've got a bouquet blend, and I've got some, oh, I won't know how to say this either. I will just let you look at it. Sounds French. A Beaujolais, maybe? Something similar. If I butchered that, I am so sorry. But I've never grown sweet peas, and I just keep hearing how wonderful they smell and beautiful colors to add to your garden. So I'm definitely going to grow these little sweethearts to put in some hanging baskets out front. But I think on some trellises in the back, I'm going to do maybe just the bouquet blend. The pale pink is really pretty, and I like that deep red one. But I think I want a lot of color, so I'm going to try this. Let's see, Perfume Delight. Let's see if there's any difference on how they grow. I think I'm just going to do these Perfume Delight. Good mixture of colors. And I'll grow these on some just short, almost cattle panel like trellises in the back. And then the small little sweethearts I'll do for the front porch. All right, so I've got everything seeded. Everything is labeled. Got the sweet peas over here. I'm just gonna do a light misting on the top and then fill up from the bottom, just so I can get the top of the soil wet to start with. Then I will see. All right, I'm just gonna put these in the greenhouse. Here are the tomatoes that we just did, and the sweet peas. I have another heat mat. I have my peppers on the heat mat. I have another heat mat I'll probably bring in here and turn it on under these tomatoes as well. Our house isn't really cold. We keep it at about 68. So it's not terribly cold, but the heat mat will definitely help in germination. So I will add that in a little bit. But thank you for starting some seeds with me and for listening to me ramble on about what I do and how I started gardening. Thank you for hanging out with me, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.